Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
And still, undefeated Tampa Bay Rays. They don't lose. 11-0. They are 11-0, Dallas. All they do is hit home runs and keep the other team from scoring runs. It's incredible. It's incredible. I can't believe what I'm seeing from this team.
This is going to continue to be a thing for me until it's not a thing. They, as of right now, have hit 29 home runs. They have allowed 19 total runs.
That's the most home runs through 11 games in Major League Baseball history. They tied it. I don't know who they tied, but I know that no team has hit more home runs through their first 11 games than the Tampa Bay Rays. But I would venture to guess that the team that they tied probably didn't allow fewer runs than home runs hit. They probably didn't start 11-0 either.
They have more doubles. They have. How about this? Like, I seriously, I want to know this. When is the last time, and how long did it last, that a team hit more homers than runs they allowed, hit more doubles than runs they've allowed? They have 21 doubles as well. So like it's pure insanity to watch them offensively do what they do. And like, this is the meeting point of when you ask yourself, well, what would happen if an offense just were to break out to this degree and the pitching staff were also to be lights out? You don't lose. That's what would happen. You don't lose baseball games. They have won exactly one game by a margin of less than 4 runs. They have been kicking the dog piss.
That was against the Red Sox, by the way. Please note that.
Everybody.
Please note that.
Brandon Lau hit a fucking bam.
Yeah. Yeah, please note that it was the Boston Red Sox that held them to 1 run, but still lost anyway.
That's right. Right now, out of the first fucking 3-4 teams that are playing these guys, the Red Sox have, that's it. You dig in, you just give up 1. Fuck giving up 4 or 5, just give up 1.
We had hope. We had hope.
Start there.
Listen, I as you know, if you're listening to this right now, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, I'm a Red Sox fan. And I got nothing. I got no answers for this team. And to anyone that's sitting there saying, well, they've still, even though they're halfway to a 4-game sweep against the Red Sox, they still haven't played a real team. Be hard to argue that at this juncture. Like the Red Sox are an unmitigated disaster. Like we got Justin Turner, a third baseman, playing first base, but then we called up our first base prospect who was originally he was a third baseman. We got our center fielder playing shortstop because our original center fielder, who shouldn't really even be a center fielder, broke his wrist. And yeah, it's a whole.
Didn't you now you're a third baseman who used to be a first baseman? Didn't he come back up and now they put glasses on him, right? So there's clearly there's clearly issues with
Bobby Doll specs, but
Bobby Doll specs is now fucking working out at the eye chart before he steps into the box. Bob, how many fingers, huh?
Yeah,
you good.
He's been nothing but productive. He's probably the most productive player on the team. He's only had.
I want nothing more than fucking Bobby Doll specs to come up and never hit below fucking 400 ever again with that one.
Yeah, he's doing great.
I love some Bob.
Yeah, Bob's a great guy.
Love me some Bob.
Yeah, who doesn't love him?
Great dude.
But
how about speaking of hitting the ball, just back to the Rays real quick.
Sure.
They are slugging as a team.
Mm-hmm.
They are slugging 100 points higher than the next best team. Do you want to take a shot in the dark who that next best team would be?
The Brewers?
Not the Brewers. One more shot.
Team that is second in the big leagues in slugging? The D-backs?
Second in the big leagues in slugging. Not the D-backs. Los
Doyers?
Los Doyers.
Okay.
At 479.
Are the D-backs and Brewers up there, though?
Slugging a cool 580. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. I love me some
the D-backs are
this
very
year.
close.
Yeah, of course they are.
But
They beat the fucking brakes off the Dodgers this past weekend.
Yeah, hey, I'm for sure. Yeah, I think the D-backs are. I don't know where they're at in. I thought they were. No, they're not top 10.
No. Good. Well, they might be. They might be top 10.
Yikes.
Good team. Exciting
20th.
team.
Not great.
Good team. Exciting
20th
team.
place.
Yeah. But anyways, enough about the Tampa Bay Rays. This is not a Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Even I'm getting shit from people on Twitter being like, "Stop sucking the Rays dick, dude! Stop sucking their fucking cocks." I'm like, bro, they're 11-0. Like, that's a pretty big deal.
Imagine if the Angels were 11-0 or the Yankees. Like any team other than the Rays. This would be a.
What if the Mets? What if the Mets started 11-0?
Yeah.
Do you realize that we'd be fucking clearing streets and setting up parking cones for the parade right now?
Yeah.
Before we move on, though, can we just suck just one moment longer?
Yeah, please.
Because the Elias Sports Bureau had a note so good. You
expose the team.
Yeah, you have to go back so far that the team names no longer exist. So according to the Elias Sports Bureau, Tampa Bay is just the third team to trail at the end of 5 or fewer of the first 99 innings of a season. And you have to go back 139 years to the 1884 New York Gothams and the, and the 1884 St. Louis Maroons.
Jay.
Oh, that was a great Runes team. Those Runes.
Yeah, I mean, 1884 sounds like kind of a bullshit year if two teams are doing it. I've got to be honest.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of tomfoolery going on in the aughts or in the 84s.
Foul balls weren't even strikes back then.
No,
for real.
6 balls. Yeah,
6 balls
4
was
strikes.
a walk.
4 strikes, 6 balls.
Baseball's so.
You could also. Oh God. It was 18. When I'm trying to remember the date, I believe you were also still allowed to request pitch height.
Yeah,
at that time.
you'd be like, I want to like right about here. Also, didn't they used to like leave their gloves on the field, like for
the other team?
Yeah, like the other team would use, like they would all use the same glove.
Just leave your shit right where it's at.
It's more fair, honestly. It's.
Hey, I'm not lying to you when I tell you that I played multiple high school baseball games just like that,
where they would leave the gloves on the field.
Where we had, and it was typically a lot of the time, it happened at first base because like other guys just didn't have first baseman gloves.
Yeah,
like a first baseman's mitt.
You know what? You just unlocked a really sad memory for me.
I'm sorry. I'm not. Let's hear it.
Like whenever we would play like AAU, like travel ball, and anytime.
They just throw you a glove. Like,
no. Anytime that like the other team was short a guy, they'd be like, "You can have Jared."
I was just saying.
Yeah. No, you want it. He can play all over the time. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, what position did they send you to?
Well, no, I mean, it was dependent on where they had the need.
No.
It was never the same position.
No. What position did they send you to?
I was an
outfielder. I'm going to tell you right now, because they're not sending you to shortstop. They're not asking you to play second. No. They don't need you running shit down in center, and they've got a guy who can catch.
Right.
They got all of that taken care of. I feel like the infield's probably spoken for.
Yeah.
So where were they sending you?
I'll just run down the list. Clemente, Betts, Judge, Carrabis. You can shit on the position all you want.
You are my favorite right fielder. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm attracted to a lot of different guys,
and that's just listen.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. One of the best right fielders to ever do it.
With the dirtiest 1-1 split I've ever heard of.
Yeah. Do not let that count even up at 1-1.
Fucking boy starts getting hot out in right field 1-0. You look out.
That's right. You know what I'm about to do right now? I'm about
Talk
to give
to me.
credit to I'm about to give credit. I'm a changed man this year. I don't know if you've noticed this. I haven't done the Yankees lose tweet. I haven't done any.
Well,
I haven't done any troll tweets about the
that's
Yankees.
false.
What?
That's false.
No, I didn't. I have not done a Yankees lose tweet at all this year. I haven't.
I maybe not a Yankees lose tweet,
But
you commented on a stellar defensive effort from Gleyber Torres maybe a week ago or so.
I don't think I did.
Yeah.
What did I do?
Yeah,
What did I do? What did I do?
You for sure did.
When?
It says great play, but like I remember it because I fucking watched it and I was like, oh, maybe nope. I was like, this son of a bitch, he can't help himself. He just can't help himself.
If I've only done one, then that's a miracle because they've played 11 games.
That's why I've noticed. I noticed the one, but that's why I noticed because I was like, maybe
it stands out.
He is a changed man.
I'm a changed man.
And then I watched the first one, and it wasn't any different than all the other shit posts you make. So
I've only done the one, and then there was the one video of Garrett Cole like on the mound where he was like, "God damn it!" Oh! but that was it. And I didn't even like say anything. I just put the crying emojis, which people still got upset about that. I was like, I can't win with you guys. Like every now and then I got to take a sip, like, goddamn. But as of right now, I would like to take
we're showing showing remarkable restraint.
Thank you. I don't even, you know what? It's not even restraint. I don't even have the urge. I don't even have the urge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've been rehabilitated.
I'm cured. I'm cured of all the hatred. And I don't know what it was that did that. I didn't get pressured into it. I didn't get bullied into it. I wasn't like, oh, stop the mean comments about me. I'm afraid to say anything bad about the Yankees. No. I just was like, you know what? We're moving on. We're turning it's a character change. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because Garrett Cole was outstanding yesterday in a game that the Yankees, they had to win that game. Very tough loss the day before. You send your ace out to the mound, and he does what aces do. He shoves against not exactly a potent Cleveland Guardians lineup, but a team that was stacking up quite nicely against the New York Yankees in Cleveland.
Look, a team that doesn't swing and miss is a team that is going to give you problems at some point or another. They might have power. How do they say, Joe? They might have power sprinkled throughout the lineup, but they're a team that, for better or worse, is going to just fucking bing, 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 irritating at bats. It can grind you. So yes, against a team like that, you need a guy. If you have a guy like Gerrit Cole to go out there and fucking plant the flag, you need it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he plants it. He plants the shit out of that flag. Jayhay, let me ask you this question.
All right.
In a must-win game, take the offense factor out of it. How many pitchers in the league are you putting ahead of Gerrit Cole if it's a must-win game and you have the active major league roster as you're at your disposal?
I would say I could count them on one hand, most likely.
Yeah.
Okay. There are some guys maybe off the top that if healthy, I could name confidently, like, I would take a healthy Justin Verlander, despite his mixed bag in big games. We all know that. I would take Ohtani at this point, but the number of people after that is probably only 2 or 3 max before we get to Cole.
Yeah, you didn't mention DeGrom. Did he fall off?
DeGrom?
No, I don't think. I think they're in the same general
Sandy
bucket.
sucks right now. Did you see that?
I would take Cole. I would take his terrible last performance. Aside, I would take Cole ahead of Sandy for sure, and Wood confidently in a big game.
Did we not pay attention to Sandy in the World Baseball Classic? Like this goes deeper than that. Sandy Alcantara. It hasn't been the prettiest go for old Sandy. He's been getting touched, as they say. And I want to give a shout before before I dive into the Sandy numbers, I do want to give a shout out to the Miami Marlins because Luis Ariz
Cycle.
hit for the cycle. That was the first cycle in Marlins history. But did you know that they were the last team to hit for the cycle of all the major league teams?
Did not know that.
Yep.
Who?
Did not know that. Wasn't Arias? Wasn't he hitting 500 coming into that game?
Probably. I mean, that would make sense.
I mean,
Guy's pretty good. That was I don't know why people scoffed at that trade.
Well,
Yeah, underrated for sure. Or at least that's what it looks like.
It's because he doesn't have pop, I guess. Like everyone was like, "Oh, we don't care about batting average." Like, I mean, getting hits is getting hits. Like that's
yeah, you do. Like if you're a player who gets hits and has a high batting average and then wins the batting title and then gets paid for that,
yeah.
you care about that.
I've also
that
never
matters.
like I've said this a million times. I've never seen a guy hit 300 and suck.
Yeah, I could give a shit what Chuck in Wisconsin thinks about fucking batting average. Like, I don't fucking
leave
care.
Wisconsin out of this.
I do. To be fair, though, I think a decent chunk of the criticism of that deal surrounded what they gave up to get him as much as it was any criticism of Ariz as a player.
Yeah,
I mean, Pablo Lopez shoved last night. So
Mm-hmm.
they could use that on that rotation right now, too. To go back to Alcantara for a second.
Just let me read the line
yeah.
real quick before you dive into the Jayhay Nugs.
Please.
This was 2 nights ago. So this was the night of our last recording, correct? Yes. 4 innings, 10 hits, 9 earned runs, a walk, just 4 strikeouts and a homer. But that was also his follow-up to a complete game shutout
Yeah.
against the Twins. Go ahead, Jayhay. I'm sorry.
No. That's good. That's good info to have before I gave my numbers, which are actually from like Dan Zimborski did a preseason pitcher bust candidates, and the premise is like below expectations. Not that Sandy is going to be bad. Sandy, he says, is going
Regression.
Right. Sandy is going to be very good, he said, but he was concerned about the effect of the shift on him a little bit, in specifically that Alcantara had by far the most ground balls hit into shifts in baseball in 2022 with 166, and only 7 other pitchers were even above 100. So that's a great nug, I think. And again, it's early, and nobody's saying he's going to stink, but if there is some regression, it could have as much to do with, his own pitching as it does the fact that, he'll be impacted by the shift potentially.
You're sounding like a guy from Wisconsin right now, to be honest.
Well,
That's a Wisconsin guy take.
Very Wisconsin.
A lot of respect for the good people in Wisconsin, for sure.
Yeah, those numbers right there tell me this is a guy who did a great job of pitching to the scouting report as well. And not only did he do a good job of that, but on the flip side, they were putting the defenders in an optimal position to succeed per how this guy executes or executed. So, I mean, that's a perfect marriage and a great result in a Cy Young for that type of production. When those things change, now what you have to see, or I guess what you might have to wait out, is there any change or is there any adjustment made on Sandy's end to how he goes about getting these outs? Does he start to become somebody who hunts the punch out more so than pitching to contact, because they don't have the ability to plant a guy right there where they did before? And now it might behoove him more. Who knows?
I love that.
Maybe maybe we don't see Sandy get deeper into the ball games like we have, and maybe he only goes 6 or 7, but maybe we see an increase in punch out numbers because he's trying to reduce contact, because he's trying to stay away from getting dink and dunked. You know what I mean?
Did we get the velo numbers? Like, because I didn't watch the start. I just saw the line. Like, is his velo down at all?
I don't think so. Not by much. I just kind of looked it up.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot. There's probably a lot to be said for the defensive positioning and the lack of shifting. If this is a guy, I mean, because those are like that right there, only 7 other guys having more success with the shift. Like, that's a big deal.
Mm.
That's a big deal. That's an outlier, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is a guy who benefits really, really well from having us being able to place our defense as we see fit. And if we don't have the ability to do that, that's why I said now maybe it's a, back to the drawing board sort of, all right, Sandy, let's take the reins off. Instead of really trying to get us 8, 9, fuck it. Maximize 6, 7, punch the fucking world out if you have to.
Yeah. It is always interesting to see how guys perform in their follow-up to a masterful outing. Like what was your start? Didn't you like continue like a string of perfect innings after the perfect game? Or am I making that up?
No, I did.
What was the follow-up?
I don't know. I think it was
7?
only like fucking 4. No, like 4 innings or something like that, 4 or 5. I mean, I threw a complete game, back-to-back complete games.
You threw a complete game after the perfect game?
Mm-hmm.
Just defying all logic. Dallas Braden,
tip your cap to that.
just absolutely blessed with greatness on this podcast.
When was the last time that happened? Let's look that up. When was the last time someone threw back-to-back complete games?
Let me take this time right now to apologize for leading the league in shutouts and complete games that year. I apologize.
2010?
Yeah.
And that's crazy because Roy Halladay was still active and he just rolled out of bed and threw complete games.
That's actually so. If I'm being technical,
he tied you.
We tied.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
me and Doc.
Yeah, no one threw more than Dallas Braden and Roy Halladay in 2010.
That's right, bitches. That's right. Say that sentence again with those two names in that same sentence again.
Dallas Braden, Roy Halladay, league leader in complete games.
Oh fuck!
In our Lord's year of 2010.
My ears just came on my brain.
Yeah. Imagine having to like bet on that before the season. Dallas Braden leading the league in complete games. You make a lot of money doing that.
Unlisted bet. Unlisted.
Yeah. The baseball season is in full swing, whether you're rooting for the home team or betting on your favorite player. DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with all this season's action. Right now, new customers can place a $5 pregame moneyline bet and get $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. Plus, everyone can hit one out of the park with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. Boost your winnings with each leg. You add up to 100%. I've got a same game parlay tonight for Giants Dodgers. I got Clayton Kershaw 6+ strikeouts, JD Martinez 2+ total bases, and JD Davis to get a hit. JD Martinez has at least 1 hit in 4 out of his 5 last games. He has 2+ hits in 2 out of 3 games, and then he's hitting .480 with an .800 slug against Alex Cobb. And then JD Davis has hits in 5 of his last 6, 2+ hits in 2 out of his last 3. He's 8 for 17 in his last 5 games, and he's hit .455 with a 1273 slug lifetime against Clayton Kershaw, and has at least 1 hit in every game that he has faced Clayton Kershaw. So that's my reasoning for that. Also, before I do the call to action here, we discussed doing a baseball is dead parlay on Fridays, where each member picks a leg of the parlay. I like that idea a lot.
Yep, into it.
That's big time. And if it hits, we all win. That's great. I love that. Join the big league action right now on DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app. Sign up with the promo code Carrabis, Carrabis. New customers can bet just $5 on any pregame moneyline and get $150 in bonus bets if their team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the promo code Carrabis. That idea is pretty cool. Do a baseball is dead 5-legger.
I'm into that. You got everybody pulling in the same direction.
Mm-hmm. Good
juju. You need that.
Yeah. We got to figure out. I mean, it's going to be catastrophic if 4 legs hit and 1 doesn't, and what's going to happen to that person on the following episode.
Yeah, Jake just picking fucking Red Sox over, Red Sox money line. Chris Sale 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk to Jake about this. We're gonna.
I mean, there's ways to involve the Red Sox where
Sure.
It's not.
I like involving them today. I would love involving them in the bet today, actually.
We need to learn the word under if we're going to involve the Red Sox. Yeah.
Just wait until Adam Duvall gets back. That's when we really take off. We get Duvall back, then we start cooking with gas.
That division, though, you realize right now that division,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken, is the only division. Everybody in that division has a plus run differential.
That makes sense. The Red Sox are in that division, so.
Yeah. Well, I think the only reason that statistic is what it is right now is because the Rays chose to not absolutely face fuck them in one game.
They didn't choose that. That was all Nicky Smooches coming out fired 7 shot. Not that I want to.
Brandon, loud noise.
Yeah.
Not that you want to what?
Not that I want to be accused of only sticking to the American League East here, but a lot of the big stories came out of the American League East since our last meeting. Ryan Mountcastle, 9 ribbies against the green and gold. Oh my God, Dallas. You got a front row seat to the Mountcastle show last night. Fucking grand slam, 2 homers. They've got all. Have you seen the dong bong? Woo!
Yeah.
You get a fucking homer. They go in the dugout. They've got the beer bong. They'll just like, woo, drinking out the beer bong.
Fucking, you rip a dinger, you rip the binger.
Yeah.
Them's the rules.
They get the.
I had to refer to it as
you go. They get the sprinkler going. If you get a double, you go out to second base, and they like the guy is doing that on second base, but then the guys in the dugout are spit water. Unbelievable. The Baltimore Orioles might have a stranglehold on not one, but 2. The 2 best dugout celebrations belong to the Baltimore Orioles. I'm not sure, like, what else would be second? Like, the Angel got the cute little helmet and the cowboy hat.
Cute little helmet?
Yeah.
You need to fucking shake yourself, friend.
Dude.
That is a fucking badass
It's fine.
samurai lid.
Yeah, it's fine, but it's not better than what the Orioles have going on.
Well, I'm not telling you that it's better, but you called it a cute little. You're gonna get fucking castrated for saying
cute little helmet.
Like
Who else even has a celebration? Like
Braves have a giant hat now.
I saw that. They've got the big hat, which I feel like they can do better. Like I feel like the big hat thing has run its course already.
Let me see, but like the Braves are like, they got to walk that fine line between, being hip and cool and also like, being the respectable storied franchise that we are, because even though Freddie's gone, right, Joe, even though Freddie's gone, we're not having no fucking fun here.
I wouldn't say that's the case. I mean, Heredia had a fucking pink sword and going on the field and hitting people with it for the past 2 years. So I think celebrations are kind of, Ozuna was taking selfies in the batter's box while hitting home runs.
Also, fat fuck Pablo. As much as I hate him, that was a pretty cool celebration to have Pablo as the team mascot and have like the panda head waiting at the end of the dugout. You do all the high fives and then you hug the panda. He's got the panda helmet on. Like, that was cool. You just should bring him back. I mean, that could potentially save his life. He may eat himself to death without a job in the sport.
You're rude.
I'm not. I mean, did you see that? I posted the picture. We went over this on a previous podcast. Pablo Sandoval was at one of the World Baseball Classic games, and there was no difference between the side of his cheek and his neck. It was all one piece.
It was the lighting. It was just the lighting.
It went from his cheekbone straight down to his collarbone. It was all just one smooth piece.
It's called a bad angle. That's all that is. A bad angle.
I'm just looking out for the guy. 3-time World Series champ, even though they had to bench him for sucking in one of them, he still gets credit for 3. Piece of baseball history. A big piece, but he is a piece of baseball history, and I'm just looking out for the guy.
Doesn't sound like it. It sounds like you're assaulting the panda.
I'm not. I'm trying to get him a job.
He's just fine.
Not that he needs it after stealing $95 million from the Boston Red Sox.
Well, I feel like you guys are more into giving money away than I think people are stealing it, right?
I can't be that mad
Checks
about
notes.
it when it's not an isolated
He's
incident.
Rusney.
Yeah. Rusney, 72 mil. the whole thing. You guys actually interrupted me from giving credit to Garrett Cole. You guys totally just changed the subject when I was trying to do that.
Well, you were talking about him like 10 minutes
That was
ago.
so long ago.
You were.
I just remembered. I just remembered. That's all.
Have you taken your medicine this morning?
Not yet. It's not time. After lunch.
Because you were talking about Ryan Mountcastle.
Yeah.
And what the fucking Baltimore Orioles have going on.
Yeah. What was the final? Did the A's have like a healthy lead in that game at one point?
They had more than we did.
What was the A's lead at? Because there was a point where it looked like
it may or may not have been a 7-3 ball game. At one point.
Yeah, 5-run top of the fifth for the green and gold. The Oakland A's scored 5 runs in the fifth after scoring a run in the first and the third. So it was 7-3 before the Baltimore Orioles fought right back in the bottom half, 3 runs, added another in the sixth, and then a 5-run seventh made it a 12-8 victory for the O's. Almost. I mean, like I said, I'm not against giving half wins. Like the fact that the A's had a lead at all, give them some points. Points for the A's.
Look, we're having a tough time keeping the ball in the yard right now.
Well, I mean, you played the Rays. Everyone's having a tough time keeping the ball in the yard against the Rays. But Ryan Mountcastle is having quite the start to his 2023 campaign, and I just wanted him to be recognized for that. That's all.
Hey, this Orioles team, when you look across the diamond and you take stock of where they have come from, this club, and where they're at right now. And I mean, Jay, maybe you can speak to this more than I can because maybe you know more about their draft situation right off the top of your head. But like just thinking about Adley, first rounder, right? First overall. He's in the big leagues. Gunnar Henderson, high draft pick. He's there. He's in the big leagues. Mountcastle, top prospect, top draft pick. He's there. He's in the big leagues. These are their first rounders, their top prospects that are now, along with Grayson Rodriguez, who took the ball last night. These are now guys who, for better or worse, you were tanking for, if you will. And now these dudes are here and they're making noise. And they're a big part of the success that you're having, or the, maybe in some corners, perceived early arrival. Not everybody has their top prospects, their first round picks in the building and impacting their team the way these guys are.
Well, who picked Jordan Walker? Is that Dallas?
I did. Yeah.
Did you see what he did last night?
What is that now?
11 straight.
10?
No,
11. Yeah.
Jordan Walker, the rookie right fielder for the St. Louis Cardinals, has begun his big league career with an 11-game hitting streak. I think it's. Has anyone ever done that?
What he tied fucking I think it's 13 games maybe to start a career. I can hear Jayhay efforting. Yeah, I know. Like, I just want to put this into context real quick. Please. 11-game hit streak to start your big league career. On the flip side of that, I have watched multiple 0 for 30 pluses, 0 for 40s start, where guys are punching out 30 out of their 40 plus hitless at bats. And these are guys that have ridiculous national park power. And 0 for a month to start their career. So when you see a young guy come up and have the discipline and the awareness and the feel of the strike zone and the comfort within himself at the plate early, you take note of things like that. Because those are advanced, they're just advanced approaches at the plate.
Yeah, it's still per Sarah Lang's shout out. It's still Eddie Murphy, who I believe Dallas mentioned on the last podcast. 1912 Athletics, Philadelphia Athletics, 12 games. That's the only one longer.
12, not 13.
Yep, that's the only one longer. So Walker obviously at 11 and counting. He could do it.
Yeah. I don't know what the sports book, I don't know if the DK Sportsbook even has that listed, but that would be a fun little ride for J-Dub to get that knock.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do when Lars Nootbaar comes back. And you think Tyler O'Neill is kind of on the hot seat right now? Because they got like 4 or 5 outfielders who can play.
Regardless of what you feel about him, I think it's ignorant to say that Tyler O'Neill would probably need to do some things to earn himself back in the favor of at least one guy in that clubhouse, right?
Yeah. Well, that's just the whole point. He's been called out publicly, and whether or not you think that was fair, most people don't.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like this isn't about like Tyler O'Neill as a person. This is about whether or not the manager feels like Tyler O'Neill is giving him the effort that he expects to see from Tyler O'Neill.
I see some tensions brewing. I think it might be time to make a change over there, St. Louis.
Are you calling for a trade, Joe?
No, I think he's calling for Bob Guerin to be the new manager of the Cardinals.
I think there's a guy in LA who's fit for the job.
What is the Cardinals bench? What does that look like? Nootbaar, they're very right-handed. Are they not? Am I thinking of the right team? Cardinals? They got 2 lefties in their lineup?
Kind of hard to know that off the top of my head.
Well, I'm just they got a couple switch hitters maybe. Anyway, we're talking about the Nootbaar, the Nootbaar plug-in. And so I'm just trying to think of their
I could tell you who they got. Yeah, they got Dylan Carlson, outfielder, who's coming off the bench, switch hitter. The other outfielders, Tyler O'Neill, righty, Mr. Jordan Walker, righty, Lars Nootbaar, lefty. So they're pretty much split in the outfield. But, somebody's got to go once Nootbaar comes up. So that's just roster watch.
Roster watch.
It's crazy. Same as Cardinals.
We do need to acknowledge something.
What's that?
Well, it's not every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not every day that history is made in the game of baseball. But it's fun. It's fun when it happens. And we should take note that when 2 teammates make history together, that's an even bigger deal.
Oh, yeah. I saw your tweet about that.
That's an even bigger deal.
Anyway, the Dallas can wedge Kurt Suzuki into a historical perspective, he's going to do it. So go ahead.
Well, it matters. It matters. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
I was there. Yep. I was there when Kurt Suzuki and the Hawaiian Punch-Out, Shane Komine, formed the first ever all-Hawaiian battery in Major League Baseball history. Well, the Pirates said, hold my flag, because we're going to throw some G's on that bitch. That's right. G1. Bang. With the walk-off Johnny last night to send the Stros off the fucking plank. Beat it. Before that, G-Man Joy. Lift off. Let's go. The first time in Major League Baseball history that 2, that's right, that 2 North Korean players,
Nope.
South Korean players,
Yeah, I was gonna
Korean
say,
players.
Yeah.
Well, I was right.
not North Korea.
I said South Korea. I said North Korea first. Fuck.
Try that one again.
The first time in Major League Baseball history that 2 South Korean teammates hit home runs in the same fucking game. And it was a victory nonetheless. The Buccos just 1 game away, tune in today, from taking 2 out of 3 from the Stros, sidling nicely in that 2 spot in the Central. It may be early, but that's okay. The Buccos are here to raise it. That's what we do.
Thank you, Dallas. Thank you.
So I just wanted to tell everybody about
Thank
that.
you. Walk off for Bay.
Yeah.
He's fucking good.
Hey. Well, not only is he good, but how about the fucking celebration at home? Like, hey, we've seen some things go south at home.
Yeah.
Plate with celebrations.
Yeah.
And so I felt like, maybe he's going to kind of ease into. No, he took full fucking flight from the foul line and just all the way into home plate, just yakking on the fucking bucket of bubble gum. It was beautiful.
Remember the
beautiful.
COVID walk-off celebrations? It looked like a shitty video game where everyone was just like jumping up and down like 20 feet away from each other.
I said it looked like that scene in Year One where they're the movie where they're supposed to be celebrating and like clapping, but clapping hadn't been invented yet, so everybody's just waving their arms. What are we doing? I don't know.
I think the best part about that was they would have the COVID celebrations on the field and in the dugout, and then they would all go in the same shower together.
Well, it makes a ton of sense. Well, I was just talking about it yesterday. Let's not forget, during the COVID season, I was calling baseball games
From a truck.
as the only person in the entire baseball stadium outside of the players on the field. It was me in the stadium wearing a mask, calling a baseball game. And then immediately after that baseball game, I would take my mask off, walk down onto the field, stand right next to the player, and interview them after the game.
Nice. Just Dallas and 400 opossums and
Just yeah.
All the possums must have had a field day at the Coliseum during COVID because there was no one there to tell them to go away. They were probably just fucking in all the catering and everything. What a wild scene. What a wild franchise. 100 years from now, they'll look back and be like, there's no way the Oakland A's are real. The same way that we think about the Maroons, that's what they'll say about the A's. Be like, that was fake. You guys are exaggerating. No, that really happened. that franchise really existed. And GameTime really exists. And they've got the best deals in the ticket space that you could even imagine. Because buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. GameTime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets. All the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun that you will have. Like I said before, I made my dad go use the GameTime app because he has to go to Fenway by his damn self on Friday because I can't go. And he was like, can you get me tickets? And I said, get yourself some tickets using the GameTime app. Forget planning months in advance. GameTime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The GameTime guarantee means that you'll always get the best price. And if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference. That is a great deal. Again, GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference if you find tickets in the same section and row for less money somewhere else. Get images of your seat before you buy the tickets so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use the promo code Jared, Jared, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the promo code Jared for $20 off. Download the GameTime app. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. My Milwaukee Brewers, which I know that some Brewer fans they've had enough of me. They're like, you know what, this fucking guy, he doesn't talk about them every single podcast, so he's not a real Brewers fan. And you know what, you guys made a good point. I don't talk about him every podcast. I'm a Red Sox fan. I don't talk about the Red Sox every podcast. I barely talk about the Red Sox on this show. I don't think that any Red Sox fans are trying to take away my fandom card. But again, that's not going to stop me in my enthusiasm for this baseball team, the Milwaukee Brewers, who I think I saw Rowdy Tellez go deep last night. You had Mike Brasso go deep last night. You had Willie Adames to dead center. Again, I watch every game. I'm locked in. I'm a Brewers guy. I'll always be a Brewers guy. But despite the homers and the victory, the big story last night in Milwaukee was the return of Corbin Burnes. And Corbin Burnes obviously was a guy that had made some headlines during spring training because there was an arbitration hearing where feelings got hurt. Things were said. I want to say the video of Corbin Burnes responding to how the arbitration hearing went. Maybe you know this better than me, Joe. I want to say it got over 1 million views. Like people outside of once you kind of break through that sphere of like, all right, you have Brewers Twitter, then you have baseball Twitter, and then you kind of just go like mainstream where people outside of baseball being like, you know what, this motherfucker's got a point. This dude with the ponytail, he's got a real point here. I don't know who he is. Like I saw people replying to it being like, I don't know who this motherfucker is. I don't know if I'm supposed to know who he is, but I agree with his points. Corbin Burnes started off the season not so hot. First start was against the Cubbies in Chicago, 5 innings, 4 earned. Then he comes back out against the New York Metropolitans, only goes 4 1/3, 7 hits, 6 runs, all earned. So he brought a 9.64 ERA into his third start of the season and a 7.16 FIP, by the way. Like, yeah, he had some bad luck, but not enough to say that he was completely off the hook there. Goes in to pitch against the D-backs last night and goes 8 shot with 8 punchies. Did not walk a batter. Only 3 hits. Is that enough to say Corbin Burnes is back?
Does he get the Cy Young award based on the start? Jayhay's the one to ask because this is his guy. I mean, Jayhay put his reputation on the line, said Corbin Burnes is my guy.
Yeah.
I got some evidence that supports he's the guy. He got dissed on Valentine's Day for arbitration, and then he came out and he was just terrible. But is he back?
Yeah, I think he's back. There's really just one bad start. The March 30th start was not dominant, but it really wasn't terrible. But last night, I think, was a return to form, and I think that's what we're going to see moving forward. Also, very efficient, under 90 pitches in those eight solid, no walks. That to me is exactly the sort of start that you want to see.
I'm just curious. This is like on topic, but kind of off topic for you, Jayhay. What is your baseball viewing experience like? Like, I know that you're a guards guy, but like, do you have like a multi-screen experience? Are you following mostly highlights on Twitter? Are you sitting down to watch 9 innings of out of market baseball? Like, what's your baseball viewing experience like on a nightly basis?
I would say it's most commonly the Yankees on the main TV screen and MLB TV on the laptop, divided up by, anywhere from 1 to 4 games. But and then once the Yankee game is over, it can kind of shift from there. But there are family members who are invested in the Yankees' outcomes, so They take they take priority generally while they're on. But also like the Mets, big fan of their broadcasts, so like to tune in for those as often as I can. But those are the main screen viewings. But yeah, that's kind of what it is. Very rarely am I like sitting down and prioritizing, it's going to be the Guardians tonight and I'm watching them exclusively. That doesn't really happen anymore.
Yeah. I think what's weird for me is every single year there's always one out of market team that I find myself watching more than others. And it changes year to year. And more often than not, that team goes on to do special things that year. Like in 2016, it was the then Indians. And in 21, it was the Braves. In 2020, it was the Padres. So I don't know that was a very special year for them. But this year, for whatever reason, I find myself watching and sitting down to watch 9 innings of Angels baseball. And I don't know why. Because yes, they have Mike Trout. Yes, they have Shohei Ohtani. But outside of that, they suck. Like it's been so far this year, it has been watching them either have leads and blow them, or it has been watching them have opportunities to take leads and then blow the opportunity to take the lead. Like that's been Angels baseball so far this year, as someone who's been sitting down and watching full length games for whatever reason that may be. I think maybe it is like coming off of the World Baseball Classic. It's almost like I watched like the first movie, and now I want to see the sequel to see how like the character development pans out. And really, it's I don't want to say it's been disappointing, because Shohei Ohtani, he's been great. Mike Trout, he's been great. But the Angel, like, I wanted to see if there would be carryover into the Angels season. And the answer so far has really been no. Like, the carryover is fine for the two players in question here. Like, Shohei's been outstanding. Mike Trout is Mike Trout. But has that translated to some sort of like, where you get like some specials happening in Anaheim this year, folks? Like, that's not happening.
Well, we had that last year at the beginning of the season, and we thought the Angels were legit. I remember specifically hearing you say on the podcast, like when they started that losing streak, I remember you specifically, I don't know why I always remember this, you being like, oh, they're going to get in the playoffs. Like, yeah, they lost 5 in a row, but like, come on, this is the Angels. And I remember being like, yeah, I guess. And then what happened? I
guess.
They fucking choked it. But would you really say the first few weeks of the season, 2 weeks of the season, has been a disappointment for the Angels? Like, I feel like they're hanging in there.
They're a game over 500. They're a game back at first place.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I think, yeah, like they're not in a bad spot, but like they could be 7-4. Like, yes. I don't know. There's been plenty of opportunities for them to be better than what their record indicates right now.
To go back to your initial question, which was, what is your viewing experience like on a nightly basis? It got me thinking that, in an era where we've never had more things that can distract you or entertain you, right? Like, you can watch a billion TV shows, you can go and do a billion things. Like, baseball is one of many, right? The level of derangement that it takes to be one of the people who tunes in for like 160 or 162 of the games in a season for like a team like the Tigers right now is something that I think really needs to be studied, because like, what are you doing on a nightly basis, devoting 2.5, even now in the reduced time, 2.5 hours to watching some of these teams? Like, to me, it's like, that's why I love bopping around, because it's like I can tune in for the new toy at the beginning of a season, base my decision off of the starting pitcher matchup, whatever it might be. Oh, Ohtani's on the mound, I'm going to make it an Angels heavy night, like you're talking about. But like, all right, time for game 83 of the 2023 Detroit Tigers season. It's like, what the fuck is like?
Well, you can't just check in and check out and then pick it up halfway, and then it's like, hey.
No, I'm saying like, I think you can actually. I think you.
Jayhay, let's call in an expert. of someone that watches 162 games of one of the worst fucking teams to ever play baseball. Dallas, what is it like? What did it take you through the process? Like, I know that like, you're getting paid to do it, so maybe it's a little bit different for someone that
I think
getting
that
paid
is
to
a
do
lot
it.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. He's getting paid to do it, but I mean, you can't make the point that he doesn't care about the outcome. He definitely cares.
No, he definitely.
So what sick, twisted son of a bitch sits there and watches 162 of these fucking things?
Fans who are married to the game and to the franchise, to the game of baseball more so than any single franchise. That's what when you're hanging around the water cooler, you want to be able to talk about whether or not Javi Baez is ever going to barrel up another baseball. Like, you want to be able to have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've checked out,
that's
for
a sad conversation.
2 weeks at a time, maybe you don't feel like you're the leading authority you might fancy yourself as. So you're like, look, if this is what I got in life, if people know that like they can come to me for the Tigers info, whether or not it's good, bad, or indifferent, and I don't have anything for them, that might be all I've got going for me. So if I can't give them the terrible news on the Tigers, then what am I giving them? What am I doing?
Speaking of terrible news on the Tigers, whoever brought that up, I'm glad we stumbled upon this topic. Like, I didn't see Miggy having a sadder ending than Pujols coming. I just didn't.
What do you mean by that?
He is so bad.
Okay, but
and has been so bad for, I think, an underrated amount of time because we were all focused on Pujols.
A decade?
No, he's been bad for, this is going to be like year 7 of not being really an asset at all.
Okay, but it's not a decade.
He's batting 7.
No, it's not, but Pujols had quite the flourish, and I'm going to remember that.
Yes.
And
Sure.
Whatever. We don't
like
expect.
Usually the fans give the player the send off. Pujols gave the fans a send off. Miggy's just like, man, I'm collecting a check. I'm batting 7th in a shitty lineup. It's a wrap, dude. I announced my retirement, and like I am retired, but I'm still out there. Like, I'm still in the lineup, but I'm retired, dude.
Yeah.
It's just so jarring for somebody like, and a lot of us are, this describes a lot of us that saw the entirety of Miggy's prime to have like almost a set, like a decent chunk of a second career where he's just been bad.
Well, how would you, I mean, look, we all want our guys or stars in the game to go out in a poetic fashion. Rarely does that happen. Very rarely does that happen. So I think, I mean, look, the natural death of a ball player's career is very much like death in nature. That shit is harsh. It is brutal. It is real. You wake up one day and you are not catching up to anything. You wake up one day and you're not barreling anything. And when you do, it's getting caught. It's no longer bouncing off the wall or going over the wall. Like, that's a fact. It's a fact of life. And I think we get spoiled sometimes, like Jared said, with, the Pujols sending the fans off and riding off into the sunset the way he did. That's why that is special. And that's why you are going to, along with many others, hold on to what Pujols did and the record setting and just all of that, how it unfolded. When's the last time you got a story like that?
No, and it's not to be expected to be repeated in any way. It was totally unexpected, and that's part of what made it special.
Yes.
Right? Totally.
Because I would say the Miggy demise is almost more expected than a Pujols resurgence at the end of his career. What would you expect more? A Hall of Famer to end up not being a Hall of Famer or looking like a Hall of Famer at the end of his career, or a guy who's been basically in the witness protection program for a decade to reveal himself the last 3-4 months of his career, chasing a home run record and then locking it up in the franchise he started with? Like, that's quite literally storybook.
No doubt. I think it is, you're underplaying how jarring the drop off has been and how suddenly it happened, because
contextualize it, you fucking nerd, because I believe you.
I mean, he was done as an impact player at age 33. Like, that's just what the numbers say. And like, he went from being the Triple Crown MVP candidate to like basically never receiving an MVP vote again over the final 7-8 years of his career. And while there are examples of that throughout history, even for great players, like for him to be done basically advancing his Hall of Fame case, he's in. I'm not saying he's not in, but like for him to be done advancing his case after age 33, to me, I think feels in hindsight to be pretty stark.
No, that's fair. That's fair because there's no question that he's a Hall of Famer, and for him to be playing as long as he has played beyond what you're saying are the impact years or being able to actually add to your resume. Yeah, that I don't think a lot of people have given that much stock. Because what you want to hope for, what you hope is happening, is that Miggy is still in the cage early with some of these guys and showing them, how do you get to this point? How do you get here? How do you get to be retired and still collecting a paycheck? How do you get to do that? Well, let me show you how. And I hope that that's what's happening. Because there's no better place to get that information from. If you're a right-handed hitter in Major League Baseball and Miguel Cabrera is on your team, you're blessed.
He received an MVP vote every season from the year that he debuted in 2003 through 2016. Every single season. It's just
that's pretty
crazy.
Sweet. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. And he was an all-star last year, so can't take that. You'll never take that away from him.
We should because he hit 5 home runs the whole season.
He was an all-star. He was there. He got the jersey.
Yep.
Yeah, does
got the introduction.
No, I'm not going to put that out. That's not going to happen. He'll hit a homer this year. He's going to hit a homer this year.
Do you think is there a level that he can sink to this year where, I mean, like, they wouldn't just outright release him, but they would, no. I'm saying like they would have the conversation where it's like, hey, can you speed up the retirement to like now? Like we need the roster spot and we're not going to blindside you with releasing you.
They don't need the roster spot. They have no chance. He's more valuable just to like talk to Torkelson, talk to these like young guys.
Yes. I hate to even say or think that out loud, because what that is, it is essentially, and you can pick any guy you want there on the roster, knocking on the door, needs a chance, performed well enough to get that chance, blah, 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 blah. I still think that the Miguel Cabrera impact, should he be doing what I would hope he's doing, is still more valuable and is not retarding the growth of somebody down in AAA. Because if the guys you have up there now can benefit from what Miggy is putting down, then they need to be around that dude. And you're not sending them down, right? And you're not telling them to go hang out with Miggy at the vacation spot because you asked him to take it to the house early. None of that is a reality. So what's the best way that you can have your current roster impacted by one of the game's greatest hitters to ever pick up a baseball bat? You got to keep feeding that fucker. You got to keep letting him in the door.
Yeah, and if you're a Tigers fan, you much rather a shitty Miguel Cabrera just stay on the team. Like, what else would you want? Like, he'll hit a walk-off this year. It'll be crazy.
Well, just for the entertainment value, right? For the entertainment value of what Miggy could, I don't know, maybe you run him out there at first against the Angels and you see more of the back and forth between him and Ohtani and him and Trout and shit. Like, hey, who knows?
Yeah. Let him pitch. He threw an inning.
Fuck yeah. There's a good chance the Tigers will be in that spot where they could use an arm that they don't want to burn in the bullpen. Miggy could be that dude.
Miggy, unfortunately, trotting out the combination, the tragic combination of being in the first percentile in sprint speed and also running a 65% ground ball rate right now. So, horrible formula for getting base hits, I would imagine, at this stage of his career.
Do we see a traditional, what has now become a traditional shift of sorts where you wouldn't do it against Miggy because he can just, pepper the ball to right field at will, or has shown the ability to do so in the past. But would we see a day where they're like, you know what, fuck it, 2 outfielders, we're going to put the right fielder over there behind shortstop, and we're putting 3 guys on the left side of second base for Miggy.
Can you play all infielders against somebody? Is that against the rules?
That's an unwritten rule, dude, that I would never want to see happen against one of the GOATs.
So
I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility.
So you hate Negro League Baseball is what you're saying, Joe?
I don't remember saying that. I don't recall.
I mean, Because
I don't think I said that. Maybe I'm wrong. I forgot, but I don't think I said that.
Because I just got done finishing the the Negro Leagues thing on MLB The Show, and like part of the thing is John Dodson's one of the guys, a pitcher, and he is also a very demonstrative performer, and he was somebody who would bring guys in from the outfield, bring his infield in, and just start removing guys. Like punch a guy out, he'd send his fucking shortstop and second baseman in. Punch another guy out, he'd send his fucking outfielders in. And then he'd bring them in and just set them up like behind the mound to watch. Like, yeah, just sit down right here. Take your glove off. Watch what's about to go down. I'm about to shove it up these fools' ass.
Did you see this outfielder Nate Eaton for the Kansas City Royals pitching as a position player, throwing 95-mile-an-hour two-seamers?
Sank. I mean, like sank.
So, do you know anything about his story?
No.
21st rounder out of a military school, drafted as a catcher, left his college final in the middle of it to take the call that he had gotten drafted.
What's his name? Nate what?
Nate Eaton,
okay.
like Adam Eaton. Yeah, he's got a crazy. I think so. I've been in touch with his people to see if we can get him on the podcast, just because his story. It's one of those stories that gives hope to people like me, where it's like, hey, shit, man, it could happen. It could. There's a lot of me's out there where we're just delusional people that think we have a shot when we really don't. And
there's certain things that separate a guy like Nate and you, though. And I don't want you. I mean, I love you.
He's a little bit shorter, but like it's not.
Well, I was
like,
going to go.
I'm seeing a 93-mile-an-hour sinker. You got one of those?
Mm-hmm. I did it one time.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So just for starters. That's where we're going to start.
Like, he's got a 93-mile-an-hour sinker, but if you were to grade that pitch, like what is the 1-1 split on that same scale?
I'm with you. If we were to grade his sinker and what it does and how bad you want your sinker to do what his does, there's no question.
Mm-hmm.
Your want is at an
splitter's not a sinker.
Your want is at an 80. On the 20 to 80,
don't belittle me.
The desire for you to have a sinker grades out to an 80.
What's that
his
word?
grades out to like
it's not
55 right now.
What's that word where you're like, yeah, don't patronize me. Don't patronize me talking about a sinker compared to the 1-1 split piece.
Yeah, that's where we draw the line, though. So I would love to talk to him. I'm here for anybody who just like, I love the whole final, like, dude, I'm trying to get drafted. Like, that's what we're here for. Like, I know I'm taking this test thing and this is going to impact my future and academia. What do I want to do with my life? Cool. I'm getting drafted. Mm-hmm. So hold, please.
Yeah. I'd love to get
fuck your Scantron. I'm going to the fucking show.
Yeah. We got a position player throwing pitches with high speed, just like Xfinity is with high speed. Ding, 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 ding. Because listen, there is so much basketball to watch right now. It's crazy. And like a ball with a funky spin, it can be hard to get a handle on it all. Jake, can we call the salespeople and be like, hey, can we? March Madness ended like 6 weeks ago.
We got NBA playoffs.
Yeah, we got NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
And like a ball with a funky spin,
Kings.
It can be hard to get a handle on it all. Now you can stay on top of all the madness with the Xfinity 10G network. With Xfinity 10G, you can power an entire house full of devices with ultra low lag. So you and everyone you know can stream every single game at the same time and never miss a shot. And if you're on the go, Xfinity will still be right there with the assist with millions of Wi-Fi hotspots. Introducing the next generation 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Learn more at xfinity.com/10G. Go Gonzaga. Were they in the tournament this year?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, they've legit been gone a month.
How was it to see? I guess I don't really know who I'm addressing this question to. It could be one of two people. That Sean Murphy fucking walk-off bomb. How was that viewing experience?
Oh, how was that, Joe? How was that? I'm sure you saw his name in the lineup and instantly wanted to fucking punch something. We're like, this fucking
What?
bum. You got this loser back there. Give me Darno. Where's Darno? So you settled for Murph. How'd that feel? You okay with that?
Sorry for showing a little concern about a guy who just got his like 4th concussion of his career. I was saying it was kind of a hit to the squad, but like you said, we have another catcher. He's probably the 2nd best catcher in the world right now. And he's on our team. I think that's a lot. I think that was a wake-up call for a lot of non-Braves fans who saw him hit that walk-off and were like, oh shit, they have Sean Murphy too? That's annoying.
Yeah, that's
And
exactly
then
how
it
I
is-
feel about that. That's exactly how I feel about that.
Yeah, he carried the team that day against the Reds. 3 for 4, 2 doubles, 3 RBIs. Just a nice little 4-3 win for the Braves. Everyone like in the last podcast, it was crazy how much flack the Braves were getting from this squad. Oh, you guys lost 3 games to the Padres. Is it time to panic? Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
Oh.
They're about to sweep the Reds, and then we're playing the Royals next.
The Reds. Oh, the Reds. That's who got the Buccos off to that rough start. Cincinnati Red Leggings. And then the Buccos said, you know what? It's all good. We're going to fucking absolutely rinse the Red Sox. Then we're going to fucking crumple up the White Sox. Just doing all the fucking dirty laundry. And smack around the fucking, who else are we smacking around? Getting ready to smack the Stros right before we tap the fucking Rockies. Let's go, Buccos. Fucking feeling good. Feeling good.
Dude, Astros better be careful, man. The A's are on their tail right now. About 2 games back.
I don't like your tone.
from the
I'm not
Stros,
100% in love with your tone right now.
but it is true.
Is that true?
They're about a game and a half, 2 games back from the Stros.
They're 2.5 back of the Stros.
Hey, man, it's not a comfortable lead.
That's in striking distance.
Yeah.
Do we?
And
Never mind.
we can just throw out the fact that the A's have lost 9 out of their last 10 games. But in 6 straight losses. But the Houston Astros, not a hot start to their season. I mean, they're still going to win this division.
Am I
Yes.
asking to just be completely
Not even-
punished right now if I ask what the largest separation in division leads is?
Probably. I mean, it's got to be the AL East.
Yeah.
4 games, Tampa. 4-game lead over the Yankees and the Jays.
Okay. 4 games. That's not bad.
Right now, the
That's
Red
not bad.
Sox are the team that are the furthest away from first place out of any team in the league. 6 games.
Ooh.
Well, that's what happens when you play in a division where the first place team literally does not lose.
There.
That is 100% the reason why that is. But
I can't remember what it is now, but I saw something about like the Yankees play 20 games against like literal dog shit teams in August and September. Like their August and September is against, I mean, and you can make the case that those teams will be even worse after the trade deadline. So, you know, the Rays are bottom feeding right now. The Yankees are going to get their chance to do the same thing.
you think they're going to go 11-0?
No.
No.
And outscore them by 100 runs?
No. What is their run differential up to right now? It's got to be like plus 60 something.
Who, the
no?
Rays?
Yeah. 63. Plus 63 run differential to start the year.
How many games do you think they have to win in a row to get a sold out Trop?
They can't even sell it out in the playoffs.
Yeah, they play.
We're
They
going for
play-
an undefeated season. That's
First
what we
pitch.
take.
First pitch starts about an hour and a half after dinner time starts for the majority of the people in that area. They're not going to the game.
Hey, old people love baseball. Come on,
they
man.
They got their TV trays
let's
set
just
up and
say-
they're crushing in front of the tube for sure. But they're not going to the game.
If the Rays were going for 162-0 that night, it would be sold out. But 60% of the fans there would probably be people like us that just want to see history.
Like I don't remember even seeing Dick Vitale there this last weekend
Yeah, what's he up to?
doing other stuff, calling games and shit.
I think he's recovering.
Yeah.
No, he's
gonna
mobile
say.
though. Like he's calling games and stuff, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah,
I thought he was out this past
that's
March.
no. I feel like he not
He's
the
a
season's
trooper. He's
over.
probably calling games.
right. But I mean, I'm saying he was.
the
that's-
madness is over.
The madness is over. But that's
The
why
madness.
that's why I said I didn't see him out there because I thought he was, and maybe I'm completely fucking wrong. I thought he was like doing shit
I
for
don't
college
know.
basketball. I know that he's been having some health issues, but he's from what I understood I thought he was doing well or doing better to the point where he was public.
Hopefully. Let's just pray that that's the case and he's not
Yeah.
in the hospital right now for Dallas's sake.
Yeah. Dallas getting canceled over a Dickie V take would be quite the twist.
I just all I said was he wasn't at the fucking game. That's all I said.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what if he's in a hospital bed?
Well, then that would probably explain why he's not at the game.
Imagine criticizing a man for not showing up to the fucking Tampa Bay Rays, Oakland A's series. Where's he at?
But no, because
Where
he's
you
kind
at, Dickie V? You ain't out here.
he sits by the dugout, and I mean he's fucking great. People come over and take pictures and shit. Like he's a part of the attraction. Honestly,
It's crazy. It's crazy that you would say that the Rays game started an hour and a half after Dick Vitale's bedtime, considering all he's gone through. But hey, man.
It's on you, dude.
Wow. Whatever.
Hopefully he's well and that he just strategically skipped this past series because he knew it was going to be a fucking bloodbath.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
I don't know which series you're referring to, but it all apply.
Yeah, all of them.
they've all been
Mm-hmm.
very juicy.
Mm.
All right. Anyone have any final thoughts here?
No, hey, don't sleep on the Texas Rangers.
Okay.
They were a team that nobody gave any credit to, right? Nobody acknowledged when we were talking about whether or not the Astros were going to be dethroned. The conversation was about the Angels. The conversation was about the Mariners. Nobody
Mhm.
had anything to say about the division leading Texas Rangers at this point.
Mhm.
Just
April 12th.
that's it. Hey, April 12th. I know a little fellow who likes to talk about the game of baseball in segments, and this would be the first
Yeah.
segment of the season. And as of right now, the team that
Rangers are-
leads their division is a team that nobody on this panel was discussing.
I categorically
the-
reject the idea that I did not discuss the Texas Rangers.
Well, you can
Check the tape, fans. Check it, please. Thank you. Tweet at me in Dallas.
Mhm.
What about Andrew Heaney having a fucking strikeout record?
Yeah.
The
9, was it
Dog.
9?
9 in a row.
9 strikeouts. He said he didn't even realize he had tied the record.
I
He's
think
on
I
another
predicted
level,
that
man.
on the podcast too. Dallas beginning
Yep.
of the season.
Probably.
Heaney would set the strikeout record.
probably. That's you and the Giants fans from fucking 2021.
I have a few final thoughts.
Please.
Quickly, shout out to Joey's guy, Matt Olson.
Mm.
We should note that homer was the hardest base hit of the season so far.
How hard?
118.6 miles per hour.
That's torched.
For real?
Yep.
I thought O'Neal Cruz had one that was $120 something. No?
122.
Wasn't that
That
last
was
season?
last year though. It was a single.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he had the hardest. He had the hardest one last season by like 3 miles per hour
Yeah.
over whatever
Stanton.
Giancarlo did.
Yeah. He hit it so fucking hard it hit the wall and like bounced back to the fucking outfielder.
So shout out. Good for him.
Shout out.
Caller.
Yeah. Shout out to Joey's medals.
Joey's
Correct.
medals and
Thank you.
Uh,
He's locked in.
unappreciative.
The
bitch.
Rays, we were talking about them earlier. Their adjusted OPS as a team is 168, which is basically the same that Vlad Jr. put up in his 2021 season. So their entire team is basically Vlad Jr. so far from 2021, the year he almost won the MVP. And matchup I'm looking forward to tonight. I'm sure Joey will be tuned in. Strider Green.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hondo Fest.
1-2 in the NL in strikeout rate since September of last season to the present.
Just a
Could
whole
be
bunch
quite-
of chundies.
That's it for me.
Didn't this matchup take place last year? And we talked about how it's going to be like the highest average velocity matchup of the season.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember them facing each other.
It's
Yeah.
something we would say.
Yeah.
Who else we got?
Love that.
What other matchups we got today? We got anything
That's the
else?
sexiest by far.
Is
A
it?
lot of day games, though.
There's a lot of day games. A lot of day
Mets
games.
Padres has been a nice series to watch.
Mm-hmm.
They had
Marcus Stroman versus Logan Gilbert. That doesn't do anything for you?
Yeah, I mean it's a good matchup, but I'm on that. I'm probably on that Hunter Green before I'm on that Gilbert Stroh.
That's pretty much it in terms of like two studs. You've got other studs going, but
You've got
that's it for head to head.
you've got Kim Waldachuk going for the Oakland A's and Dean Kramer going
All right.
for the Baltimore.
Thanks for listening.
Jeez.
We'll be back tomorrow. Thursday episode.
Dean Kramer is
of
a
Baseball is Dead.
Stockton native.
Looking ahead to this
Throw that
weekend,
out there.
and appreciate you listening. And as always, let's go Oakland.
That's fucking right. That's fucking right. Wow.